We're now into hour number 2. There's the article up on the TV screen at prisonplanet.tv. You can go watch the video. He says we'll use the free market to de-develop the United States. So they've gone from denying that's their plan to being out in the open. Raj, Bo, Carol, Brett, Carlton, Joe, Scarlett. We're going to get to all of you now. The toll-free number to join us is 888-201-2244. I'm going to take all the calls that are on the board first. Then I'm going to get into all this other police state news. But that was important that I spend the first hour on world government and world taxes out in the open. So all the naysayers and people who've been in denial, they should apologize to real patriots who've been telling the truth in the face of being made fun of. But let's talk to Raj in California. How you doing, sir? You must be doing super good.
Alex, how's it going?
Good, good. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had a question. You know how you said the bank or the global currency? Are they planning to incorporate that with Codex Alimentarius, or is it just like everything by stealth?
Oh, absolutely. They're trying to pass laws where you can't even can tomatoes or pickles yourself and eat them yourself. You'll go to prison. There's a House and Senate bill on that. They've got global rules to control all the food, to not let you know if there's GMO in your food. The globalists set the rules, then the nation implements them under treaty.
Yeah, so, well, if Obama signed the executive order recently for the Codex Alimentarius, like, how does it understand, like, are they going to employ it through the bureaucracy just like the global
They just tell people it's for the children. And, you know, they say you're not allowed to sell squash to people on the side of the road because it might hurt somebody. And they're, you know, just like Lenin said, you can't have your own farms because it might be poison. So tens of millions starve to death, and they dance around celebrating. That's what sickening control freaks do. I mean, you like a beautiful sunrise and sunset. You like a good meal. You like being happy. They like enslavement and death. Anything else, Raj?
Keep up the good work.
God bless you, sir. I appreciate your call. Glad you raised that food point. Bo in Kentucky, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex, thank you very much for taking my call. You have every right to be mad at this, what's going on. I'm glad you're out there doing this for you.
Well, I got to watch how mad I get, though, because I blew a blood vessel out my eye. But go ahead.
No, that's what a good human should be, is a little upset, and that's a healthy thing to be. But I started listening to you in 2003. I want to thank you. You helped me see what was going on, and I was allowed me to kind of to get independent and be self-sufficient. And I was a farmer. And speaking what the last caller just said, they started wanting to put chips in all our animals on the farm and these crazy things. And I was like, I can't even hide out. I kept on listening to you, and I was like, we have to...
and by the way, the big farms and ranches are exempt from that. They have one chip per 10,000 chickens. You've got to have one per chicken that costs more than the whole chicken, hence bankrupting you.
Yeah, it's insane. It doesn't even work. It's punishing after you're dead. It doesn't help anyone. It just,
well, it's written by big agribusiness to shut you down. Go ahead.
Absolutely, absolutely. But and I started seeing. I'm at the point where it's thinking when you had that Lindsay Lohan TO speech that you came out with on the internet. I really took that to heart. And every time somebody brings up a star or celebrity getting caught with drugs or whatever, I bring up this stuff, this global stuff, and I bring it up and I try to get them to see the point. Now they kind of call me the cuckoo and. You know, I hear all this stuff, but
yeah, they love their standard of living dropping. They love losing all their rights because for decades they were taught somebody tells you to watch the government like the founders did. They're cuckoo. No, the smart people like having their pension funds taken. The smart people, you know, read Bloomberg where they're taking the dead veterans' death benefits and stealing it, and they say that's good.
It's a slow choke. And it's like Al Gore with that frog in the glass of water. They're slowly turning up the heat, and you don't realize you're being boiled by them.
Well, Bo, 5% won the war against tyranny in this country in 1776, and we got way more than that. So people that laugh at you, move on. You're doing them a favor to warn them.
Marine Colonel that busted them in 36.
Go ahead. What's your point in 30 seconds?
The Marine Colonel who busted the globalists trying to take over in 36 or what it was. He was a hero, too. It doesn't take just such a couple good people to speak up.
Absolutely. Bo, appreciate your call. Carol, Brett, Carlton, Joe, Scanner, your calls are all coming up. 888-201-2244. First-time callers, 888-201-2244. Stay with us. Okay, coming up at the bottom of the hour, I'm going to go through another news blitz of a bunch of key intel on the economy, the police state, and also we did find that video clip from last week. I don't like to mention something without playing it, because I know folks have trouble believing this. White House science czar says he would use free market to de-develop the United States. It's stated they want to de-industrialize this country. And his stated goal is to drug the water supply to also sterilize you and your family. He's written 4 books on the subject. These are psychopaths. But you'll see the video from him coming up. Just like last hour, I covered how world government's openly being announced. Again, we're taking first-time callers today, 888-201-2244. Let's talk to Carol in California. Thanks for holding her on the air.
Alex, it's a pleasure. I first want to give you just briefly background on me as a caller. I voted for Obama. I campaigned. I donated, and I even flew to Washington, D.C. for the inauguration, which is a completely other story. We got shut out and so forth. But I want to say 2 years ago, you completely changed the way I look at things and how I would scan the news. And I guess it started with the Obama deception. And, I mean, it's so clear. And, I'm just a, average mom. And, I just want whoever's, listening to your show to know that it's not just fringe that know what's going on, that's awake to this.
Well, I made the Obama deception while he had been elected, and it was released right after he got into office in late January. It was released in March, early March. And we lay out who his advisors are, how the same people that backed Bush backed him, how it was fake hope and change. Now the mainline Republicans are going to give fake hope and change. They're going to try to shut out any good patriots that actually get elected. They're trying to block real Tea Party candidates. But less people are getting conned by the bait and switch. So don't feel bad for being bamboozled by Barry Soetoro, a.k.a. Barack Obama. This is all part of an awakening process. As long as you don't get conned over and over again, we can learn from our mistakes.
There's no chance, but I see how they try to make everybody in the Tea Party out to be a wacko. And I'm not out there waving Tea Party flags or
well, they're
even
counting on people to be empty-minded and just do what the TV says is cool and trendy. Don't be your own self. But they also limit all opposition as if it's just the Tea Party. As if you're a Republican and you're a Tea Party. No, polls show that only 24% trust the government in any way. And so, again, the media is trying to limit dissent to the Tea Party. But it's not going to work. Carol, what really woke you up to Obama being a fraudster?
Oh, gosh. Well, I think it was with the collapse, and I wanted to know what happened. And so I started, instead of, watching media that, have them control the content for me.
Oh, their answer is give the bankers more power. Oh, you don't like what the bankers did? Let's give them even more power. That'll fix it.
Well, yeah, the bailout was that's a good starting point.
And that was bipartisan, Carol. Well, so that's what's woke you up. Well, that's going to wake a lot of people up. And as the Depression accelerates, remember they told us, oh, we're not even in a recession. Now they're going, oh, we never got out of the recession. It's a depression. It's engineered. And all their policies are only going to make it worse because it's a de-industrialization policy. Mao didn't kill 60-plus million people because he made a mistake. Stalin didn't kill 40-plus million because he made a mistake. Hitler didn't kill 30-plus million because he made a mistake. Pol Pot didn't kill 30% of the people in his country in Cambodia because he made a mistake. They want to break your will and make you learn how to lick boots. Let's talk to Brett in Ohio. Brett, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex, thanks for taking my call. And I've been awake for about 2 years, and I thank you for that and being a patriot and protecting my country and my family and my home. Unlike Carol, I was into President Bush. I mean, he had to be a good guy. He said, God bless America after he had a speech. But as you learn, or as I've learned, he was about a lot of different things.
Well, I mean, even if Bush was a good guy, which he wasn't, He's a puppet. I mean, you've got to look at the real policies, not the rhetoric. And everything Clinton did, Bush accelerated it. Now everything Bush was doing, Obama accelerated. I mean, when you and I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, like I said, I mean, back in those days, I was watching O'Reilly and Beck and Hannity and thinking they had their act together. Like I said, you've woken me up. And, you know, I've learned now that they would all throw you under their bus for their own skin or their own pocketbook. At least that's my belief.
Well, more than that, we forced them to admit world government, because what are they going to do when the BBC is saying how great world government is and they're openly, you know, having parades for it? Now they're like, okay, it's real, but we're the gatekeepers. Don't be too kooky like some of these groups that say a Bilderberg group exists. This is a quote from Beck. That's not an issue. But there's a world government, but it's run by low-level commies. They never tell you it's run by the big foundations, or they tell you the big tax-free foundations, or they tell you, oh, the Ground Zero Mosque, it's real horrible. They don't tell you it's funded by the tax-free foundations and the CIA, though New York Observer now admits that a month after we broke it. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, like I said, you know, there was... I mean, I was into, when they announced when Bush was in there that there was Homeland Security, I thought, well, shoot, I'm okay with that. I mean, you know, why are you complaining about that? I'm not a guy that's going to do anything wrong. Or the Patriot Act. And so many people, I think, were like that, and even today it's like that, because when I go over all this stuff that you went over with me, and I'm always passing out DVDs, I spend more time sharing this information with people more than my regular job now, because I believe it's extremely important, and I notice to you, and I respect you for that, okay?
Well, I respect you, sir.
You know, I used to think, and like a lot of people did, we lived in this Andy Griffith, Donna Reed world. And when you find out, when you truly study, and it's why everybody needs to be studying the documents, and when you mention something, they need to go over this and research it, because what you say is true. You know, like I said, I don't listen to these other guys because they became turncoats. They changed their story. You've remained true. And this is what I tell people when I'm you know, mentioning you. So, and I do respect that. But like I said, it's not Donna Reed in Andy Griffith world. It's more like the Twilight Zone and Outer Limits.
It is.
So we need to get it.
Well, I mean, there's a facade of Andy Griffin, but I mean, I've been harping on this for 3 weeks since Bloomberg broke it, and I've already gotten calls about this in the last few years, but even I couldn't believe it, so I didn't look into it. You know, I'm weak-minded. 9 times out of 10, I underestimate how evil these globalists are. They're basically unlimitedly evil. But I remember getting calls about millions of older veterans when they would die, or people dying in Iraq or Afghanistan, or in a plane crash in New Mexico, it didn't matter, that suddenly their death benefits, their insurance money, wouldn't go there. And people say that they stole my death benefits, and I said, that's impossible. I didn't look into it. But I had heard this. Now they come out and headline, Bloomberg, Veterans Affairs met in secret with Prudential, but that's just one. All the big ones did it, to steal the death benefits. And the government says, yep, we changed the rule. We're allowed to keep your insurance money. The sky is the limit with these people. 20 years ago, they wouldn't let the troops use DU. It was an emergency weapon if the Russians poured across into Europe.